It's another edition of the ultimate Kaya959 Top 30. And Simmy, you actually are our very first in-studio guest.
Okay.
You know,
That's
with
dope.
COVID, with what's been happening, obviously
Yeah.
everything has been done over the phone, right?
Okay.
Talking about that, I normally start by asking people about mental health, lockdown, how it affected you, you know, over a year and a half living in the pandemic. How's that been for you?
I won't lie, it's been both good and bad. Because I think I'm speaking on behalf of most of my artists and everyone in the industry actually. When I say we were not ready, you know, everything was just put on hold without us getting a warning or whatever. So like income was just also put on hold, you know. But at the same time, I was busy with my second album, Tugela Fairy Made of Stars. So in a way, it gave me some time to just focus on myself as an artist and actually focus on just the album, because it was usually gigs and whatever else that is happening and the album. So yeah, it was really just good and bad. Yeah.
Look, we'll talk about that album a bit later on, right? Obviously, when I found out you coming through, I had to look at some stuff. What can we talk about? You know, and then I find that you and I have something in common. Huh?
Okay.
8701 turning 20 made you excited.
Shucks. So excited.
Yeah.
And emotional in a way, but you know, it's a good memory. It's one of the albums that was introduced to me by my late brother. One of the people that actually influenced this whole journey that I'm on. I sometimes feel like I'm living his life. Every morning I literally woke up with that album.
You got it bad.
You know. So yeah, and as in cool, I actually realized, shucks, it's a heartbreak album. But it was so beautiful. No, really, worth celebrating, definitely.
Did you realize it's a heartbreak album after getting your heart broken? Or
not even, but you know, as you grow up, I think it's actually with most of the music that I grew up listening to and loved. And it's weird, and you're like, no, but this line is not a happy line. It's a sad line. So yeah, it wasn't really because I was heartbroken, but it was because Isingisi started making sense. I didn't just know the words. So yeah.
At first you were just singing.
Yeah, I was just singing. Like, I know this word.
Okay, cool. And of course, recently we found out that you're actually part of the, I'd call them a group of women that South Africa loves, the most streamed women in Mzansi where Apple Music is concerned. How did that make you feel?
Shucks, it's insane because I've been on that list since I started this journey, you know, from the first album and the following year and this year as well. So I was really not expecting it. We're actually laughing with Tushekana, like, dude, we're still on this list. So yeah, it's really beautiful. It's not something I expected, you know, for everyone to just love my music from the get-go up until now. You know, for my albums to be on the charts. So yeah, it's really beautiful.
You know, it's interesting. You should actually talk about albums being on the charts. You and Shikan actually laughing about this. A lot of artists like to be very modest, you know, like, nah, I don't keep an eye on awards. I don't keep an eye on those things. Do you check out these lists? The summers just happened now. Do you get upset when you get nominated and don't win? What's the vibe with you and charts, awards, and all of that?
Not even, man. I'll say, especially with the summers, being nominated on its own is for me just a beautiful thing. Especially, and I'll go back to the first album. That was just an introduction of Simmy as the Tugela Fairy, and all those nominations and the nominations that I got this year, it was really like a beautiful thing for me to just be recognized, you know, whether I win or not. I always look at the people that I'm nominated with. You know, once upon a time I was not in the music industry, and I looked up to some of those people, and to be on the list with them, you know, being recognized for my work is really just beautiful. If I don't win, you know, we move, we work harder, try again.
Between you and I, do you ever get that Maraguni never moment? I mean, sometimes, you know, we compete with people and we're in the same industry, and you know, when somebody wins, you're like, okay, that one deserves it. But sometimes you're like, Mara.
It happens, you know. But it's like his tombe. I can look at an artwork and love it, and someone else hates it or is not so not so drawn to it. So and it's okay. But yeah, there are some people I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not my vibe. It's other people's vibe. That's why that person won. So yeah.
All right. We're in studio with the Tugela Fairy. Her name is Simmy. She's got a banging album, which we'll chat about a bit later on, called Tugela Fairy, Made of Stars. You spoke about your introduction album, that Tugela Fairy album, right? The reception for that was super dope. When I look at a lot of comments around it, people are saying, if it's somebody who understood the assignment, it has to be Simmy on this album.
Yeah.
The reception to that album, how does it make you feel?
It's insane, man. That's why I'm here, because working on that album, I was still doing my 9 to 5, and I was not even planning on.
Whoa. We have a 9 to 5. Okay, we'll come back to that. Okay, continue. Yeah.
I was not even planning on having an album.
Yeah.
I was working with Usana musician, and he was still teaching me so many things, and we were trying to get like at least 2 songs to have on his album. Okay. That's how Sonini came and Tabi Zigute, and then we ended up making more songs, and like an EP, and then an album, Tugela Fairy, and we released it. And when we released it, I was really I wouldn't even say I was nervous, because for me it was such an adventurous moment.
Yeah.
I didn't even know I could record a whole album. So for people to be like, "Oh my gosh, Simmy," especially Umahlalela, I hated that song.
Okay.
No, I loved it, but I hated it, man. But yeah, I worked hard on it, so I was like, "Oh, so they love it. Okay, so that's worth it." So really, it was a surprise for me. Really beautiful. I wasn't ready. I'll be very honest.
Umahlalela, you didn't really like that much.
Yeah.
But Sonini, man, that's still my song, by the way. Yo, that song.
It's insane. After 4 years, people still go crazy.
Like on stage right now, do you still get like shocked at like how guys you still like Sonini?
I don't, because it's such I remember before we even recorded on the song with Tulelo, I think whenever I go to studio, Sanela would play the instrumental. Like he would literally get to studio and he's there playing the instrumental over and over again, and I just knew. So actually I couldn't believe when I was asked to, because the first time I was asked to just write verses, and then all of a sudden I had to sing the verses as well. So I was like, guys, am I really part of the song? So I'm really not surprised. It was such a beautiful spiritual song, even before it had lyrics on it.
Before I talk